Ons begin met die ANC. Na 'n geskiedkundige nederlaag by die stembus, het die party nog nie veel tyd gehad om die verkiesingsuitslae in oënskou te neem nie. Die sekretaris-generaal, Fikile Mbalula, het gevra vir 'n 6-dag-lange vergadering van die nasionale uitvoerende komitee om vas te stel waarom so baie kiesers hul rug op die ANC gedraai het. Ek het my Mbalula gaan hoor waarom dit nie as voor die hand liggend beskou word nie.
Mr. Mbalula, do you think it's necessary to sit back and analyze these things? Many South Africans would say it's obvious. The reason why the ANC lost the outright majority was because we have an electricity crisis. We have massive youth unemployment. 80% of 10-year-olds can't read for meaning. Our infrastructure is crumbling. I mean, these are all due to a lack of proper governance by the ANC government.
The ANC has done a good job in the past 30 years, an account of which is given by Census South Africa in terms of the quality work the ANC have done. If you look at the cost of living and the price of fuel and all of that has got everything to do with what is happening in Ukraine and Russia conflict. How globally that has actually affected us.
So, I mean, if things like the electricity crisis, which also increases the cost of living, that's not Ukraine.
It is an objective factor. The electricity crisis in itself has also contributed to the negative mood in the country and dampening, the mood of those potentially would have come out and voted for the African National Congress. In this particular instance, when other people speak, hypothetically, they say, man, the ANC can still continue because once they combine with Zuma, they can govern and all of that. And so, because it's the same constituency, same base that voted for them and all of that. And so that tells a story.
Do you agree with that?
The majority of people who voted for the MK party came from our constituency base. So there is nothing new about that.
Is that the fault of former President Jacob Zuma, or perhaps the fault of the ANC for not handling that issue better?
There's no question of fault. I'm analyzing the elections. And then there's no question of fault. We went to an election with an open mind, knowing the risks that were there, and Zuma was one of them. And now it's over. It's not a question of fault of anyone. We fought hard to push that back, but we failed. We failed in a sense that Jacob Zuma has actually emerged with a powerful number of significant people who have voted for his party.
Did that take the ANC by surprise?
It did not take us by surprise, the vote, as we went to an election knowing very well that that is a major risk.
What about people who make the argument that the ANC is out of touch with the material conditions on the ground of many people? You've been criticized for arriving at the rally in a G-Wagon, where certain people have to survive on the basic income grant or the special grant of 350 Rand a month.
Well, I think that story, because you are raising it now, let's respond to it. It was an over-exaggeration of the situation, because I don't own a G-Wagon, and that G-Wagon was provided as a means of security measure because there were security threats around the area we're in.
I always find it interesting because if you are a leader in society and if you are providing services to the people, why do you need to be protected from them?
What has happened in this country, and which you have not even pepped up, is that the very same VIPs you are talking about as ministers have been stripped of any significant benefit of luxury that any person can actually live up to. And flying, its economy. You only benefit of these benefits when you go international, if there's anything like that. Even then, ministers used to fly first class. That was killed. You fly more than 10 hours, you only allowed business class as a minister.
Is that not enough?
It is enough. I'm talking to you about the gravy train that is purported out there, that being a minister, it is in South Africa means something huge, and you add blue lights as though it adds something to the value of luxury benefits. No, it doesn't.
Were you surprised in these 14 days following the election when government talks were taking place? Were you surprised at how easy perhaps it was for the ANC and a party like the DA to find each other?
I was not surprised. We were not surprised based on the engagement because the talks were hard and were difficult.
What about the concern that people have raised that it's easy now what's been done? Perhaps this was the easy part, but when it gets to those deep ideological differences that the ANC and the DA and some of the other parties in the GNU have on issues like black economic empowerment, national health insurance, all of these hot button issues, when those ideological differences come to the fore, how are you going to meet that deadlock?
You can only meet that deadlock by winning elections with outright majority. How do you negotiate the ANC out of NHI? How do you negotiate the ANC out of triple BEE? You can only do that if you get outright decisive majority.
So those issues are not going anywhere. It's been cemented.
It is just a basic science of politics that you can only negotiate one party out of its thinking through outright majority.
Will the GNU survive?
I think there will be contradictions within the GNU, as it will be expected. But at the end of the day, is firmly founded on the principles of a commitment of everyone to work for stability of the country.